calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
30 phone calls. Never once got asked what kind of player got with. Take this story back to your players too. Not one question about what kind of player. What kind of character does he have? What kind of person is he? How's he going to fit into their organization? What kind of teammate is he? Does he have any leadership qualities? That's the only thing I got asked. They can see what kind of player you are. They want to know what kind of person you are. Can we trust you to represent our organization in a first-class way? That's important in every choice and decision that you make. Create value for yourself in all those areas.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. That was Nick Saban, the guy who's apparently running against me for college football commissioner. The odds are in my favor. I'm just saying. But that was him talking to college players, high school players, about what NFL scouts would ask him when it came to his Alabama players who are going to be drafted in the NFL draft. It's interesting. When I look back on my draft process, he's right. They can see what kind of player you are. They got the film. They can find out what kind of athlete you are at the combine. They can see how well you perform against the best of the best, especially if you played in a smaller conference or didn't play in the toughest, most difficult schedule year in and year out when you go to the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine Bowl, et cetera, et cetera. It's why they have all these things. They can figure out who you are at least up to draft day. Now, projecting a young man going forward, there's a lot more that goes into it. And it's not an exact science. Just ask Mel frickin' Kiper. Because apparently the NFL doesn't know what they're doing with quarterbacks for the past 50 years. Not that Mel's ever hit or missed here or there. Keely Smith, a couple other guys. My draft process, my high school coach was called by umpteen NFL teams. Obviously, a lot of my position coach, Coach Blake, was called. Callahan, who shall not be named, was called. I did not love playing for Callahan, but I will say this. If you compare his record to just about every coach since, outside of Pelini, it's not even close. Okay, so if you want to say who shall not be named, well, let's compare wins-loss records, and it's not even in the same category outside of Bo Pelini. But that being said, I wasn't the biggest fan of playing for Callahan. I committed and played my first couple years under Frank Solich. Obviously, that is not how it ended. Not my choice. But I've always had a hard time saying anything negative about Callahan simply because everything that NFL scouts told me that he said to them was he freaking loved me and said nothing but great things. And a lot of that was apparently due to intangibles, off the field type stuff as well. But other people were called from NFL scouts and coaches. Going back to my middle school coach who lived just down the street from me. We were on air about a month or 6 weeks ago when I literally got the text in the middle of the show that Coach Logsdon had passed away. Do you remember that day, Jake? I literally looked at my phone. I'm like, oh, my middle school coach passed away.
That's right, yeah.
In the middle of the show, we were on air. They called Coach Logsdon. All right, he was my middle school coach. Again, lived just down the street from my parents. Not when I played for him. We actually moved down there after I was heading to high school. He took immaculate care of his yard. Very, very proud when it came to his yard. His lawn always looked immaculate. My parents entrusted me with the yard, so it looked, let's just say, less immaculate at the time. But they want to know what type of person you are. They want to know who you are off the field. They want to know your intangibles. They want to know what you're going to bring into the locker room. What do you bring into the meeting room? What are you going to do when things get tough? And that's how they help try to project good football players into the NFL. It's how they help try to project really good athletes into the NFL. Is they want to know off the field type things from people that will give them honest feedback that know you the best. And what better than your coaches, your teammates, people you grew up with, things of that nature. So I just thought that was an interesting clip because when I was listening to Saban say that, and I sent that clip, I think, to Jake actually last week. We just played it now. I instantly was harkened back to Coach Logsdon call, hey, I just spoke with X, Y, and Z team. And, this person, hey, I just spoke with this team. And I was like, well, what'd you say? What'd you say? I didn't tell him what to say, but I'm like, I hope you said nice things. So anyways, I just thought that was kind of interesting. Today is, you guessed it, a loaded show as always. The college football playoff appears to be going to 16 teams. Now, I have advocated against this, Jake. I've advocated against this. I've said I prefer the 14-team playoff. I've explained why. I prefer 8. 8 would be, in my world, the perfect scenario. Not going to get it. I'm not going to just climb uphill for the rest of my life because it's not going to happen. We never even had one 18 playoff. Didn't even get a try. Didn't even get to see what it looked like, Jake. We went from 2 to 4 to 12 to 9,000 roughly. It's actually going to be a 24-team playoff because you're going to have these 4 play-in games. So it's really a 16-team playoff with 4 play-in games. It's really, as Jake pointed out, when we first started talking about this, I think in January, he's like, no, it's really a 24-team playoff. They're just masking it under 16 teams with a bunch of play-in games. Hey, Jake's not just here for beauty. He's got brains too, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that, and I might surprise you. Now that I've actually sat down and looked at the format of the 16-team playoff, I still prefer 14, but there's something I like about the 16-team playoff. There's actually something I like, and I'm not going to keep fighting the unwinnable battle. It is what it is, so whatever. I found something I genuinely like, though. And I've got a thought on auto bids. Do you like auto bids?
I do. I know a lot of people would say just pick the teams that appear to be the best, but there at some point you do have to reward the Big Ten and the SEC for playing in what are, again, these conferences. If it was, that's not fair, this, that, the other thing, these conferences are built differently now to the SEC and Big Ten. So I think they do need the auto bids, and there's a few at-large bids at least still out there.
I like auto bids, and I'll explain why as the show goes along. Danny Busboom Kelly, I think, had a moment of true honesty, and we're going to play that clip about the Nebraska volleyball team. We'll play that come hour 2. Just a brief sentence of true honesty, like you're talking to your friend, and you can just be brutally honest. This isn't some sort of negative clip in any way, shape, or form. I think it was just a moment of honesty, as if she was talking to a friend, except it was in front of cameras. And I think it was her honest opinion of what to expect from the volleyball team this fall. And I was like, most coaches wouldn't say that. I don't even know that she meant to. And I don't know that many people caught it. But I was like, that's very telling right there. We're going to play that in hour 2 as well. And big-time recruiting updates for Nebraska football as well. They're going to have no less than 14 four-star recruits come visit Lincoln in June, upwards of 20 potentially. Maybe you get into July and you factor in the 2027 recruiting cycle, upwards of 30 or more potential four-star or plus higher-rated recruits coming in to visit Lincoln this summer. Matt Rule is clearly not put the same value on in-state recruits as he once did. He is putting value on just, I don't give a crap where you're from. We're going to bring in the best of the best of the best. And it seems almost like the obvious way to do it, but it's a little bit risky. All right. And we're going to talk about that in hour 2 as well. Let's start off the top. Oh, and I teased this last week. Again, the shows are so loaded, we don't always get to everything we want to. I'm going to tell you who's going to win the college football playoff national championship this year. We already know. We're going to get to that. That's actually going to be in the first hour, either segment 2 or 3. We're just going to tell you who's going to win right now. We have science on our side. It's just science, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's dive into this. Now, I will say this. One thing I saw online, Ross Dellinger, okay, there's growing support, Big Ten and SEC support specifically for a 16-team college football playoff bracket. And here's how it would look. All right. 4 SEC teams get auto bids, 4 Big Ten teams get auto bids, 2 ACC, 2 Big 12, 1 G, it says G6, but it's really 1 G5 team and then 3 at large. Now, there was a comment below it, and I actually agree with this a lot. Whether I like or dislike the college football playoff format, how it is, how many teams, auto bids, no auto bids, what the heck ever, okay? At the end of the day, I'm going to tune in because there's pluses and minuses to no matter what the format is. If you're a Nebraska fan, the more spots that are available, the better chance you have to get in. If you're a college football fan, you want to value the regular season more, maybe you want less spots. There's pluses and minuses no matter what it is. A fan commented underneath, and I thought there was a lot of truth in this. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but there is a gigantic kernel of truth in this. At Corey Knuckles, definitely didn't try to spell that right, so I don't know what it says. I think it says Corey Knuckles. I don't care what happens with the college football playoff expansion, conference realignment, etc. But NIL and transfer portal are the ones ruining the sport. Now, again, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this because we've dove in on it on the past. But I was like, there's a lot of truth in that. No matter what the college football playoff looks like, people are going to tune in. Now, maybe one format is better than the other, etc., etc. They're going with the one that's going to make the most money. That's what they're going to go with, okay? You can see fans being turned off by the way the transfer portal is and the way NIL is. You can see people being turned off. I think if this were something that I saw being around for an extensive period of time, I'd be concerned for the game of college football. I do think, once again, for the 1 millionth time, I do think there's hope. I don't know how long it's going to take before we get there. All right. So for me, I'm like, yes, that's actually a very fair statement. So when we're talking about the college football playoff, it's a little bit of, it's more than splitting hairs because there's gigantic differences between having a 14 playoff and 16-team playoff. We're not splitting hairs. You're more than splitting hairs. But at the end of the day, people are going to tune in one way or the other. NIL and transfer portal is something that it's like it does turn people off to an exponential degree. When you watch maybe a college kid make more in a season or two than some people will make in a decade or two, and then they come and go, things of that nature, that is something that turns people off. And then there's a certain amount of folks out there who are like, don't want accountability with it. Like, hey, there's memes and there's gifts, and then they have to deal with things they've never had to deal with before. Well, I'll give you a couple things that no college football players ever had to deal with before. They've never had to deal with 6 or 7 figure incomes. Okay. All right. So there's a little bit of a increased accountability that comes along with that. Today's college football players, there's pluses and minuses. I played for Mike Shanahan, the first coach that ever stepped into a meeting room and said, we're not doing two-a-days. I never heard of that before in my life. This is back when you could do two-a-days. Today's modern day college football player doesn't have to deal with two-a-days. Now, that's not on them. That's the system. My point is every era of college football has pluses and minuses. So there's accountability that comes. A lot of it's going to be connected to based on how much money you're making. Okay. But there's pluses and minuses to every era. But when you come, I do see a light at the end of the tunnel. Again, revenue sharing. I know everything's kind of on pause and hold. The 105, maybe that's not going to happen. Maybe there will be more players allowed to stay and play the top level of college football, which I would love. All right. But when it comes to the playoff, people get passionate, people get excited, and I'm no different. But I don't think you're legit just going to turn people away because there's 16 teams in, or there's 8 teams in a play-in, 4 play-in games, and 8 more teams, or whatever it is. Or I don't think it's going to turn people away. At some point, they need to fix the real issues with college football. So while we get excited and we're passionate about this, Jake, I've actually spent a lot of my life trying to, more time than I'd like to care to admit publicly, trying to fix college football ever since I was a kid. And someday I will outlay that throughout this summer. By the way, when you got 6 kids on 14 different sports teams, I don't want to say I'm just trying to get through May, but I know how many days are left. I'm just saying, I know how many days are left. All right. You look at a 16-team college football playoff. The SEC has 4 auto bids if this is what comes to fruition, even if it's a 14-team playoff. Okay. SEC 4 auto bids, Big 10 4 auto bids, Big 12 2 auto bids, ACC 2 auto bids, Group of 5 1 auto bid. Now, if it's a 14-team playoff, it leaves 1 spot open. Probably going to go to Notre Dame more often than not. If it's a 16-team playoff, you got 3 at-large spots. All right, if you want to call them wild card spots, use NFL terminology, whatever. One of them may go to Notre Dame. That leaves 2. If Notre Dame doesn't get 1, that leaves 3. I dislike the idea of a 16-team playoff because you are basically taking the regular season out back and you're shooting it like Old Yeller. You just are. There's going to be teams that get in with 4 losses. There's going to be a lot of 3-loss teams, so now you can lose a quarter of your games and get in. There's going to be teams that get in with 4 losses, so now you can lose 1 out of every 3 games that you play and get in. It is what it is. I don't like any of that. I'm not excited about any of that. But when it comes to the auto bids, I actually like it. And I know a lot of folks are like, just take the top 16. To Jake's point, I do think you need to reward well, you were talking about the SEC Big 10 initially. I think you need to reward conference champs. If you're the ACC conference champ, you should be in a 16-team playoff no matter what. If you're a Big 12 conference champ, you should be in a 16-team playoff no matter what. If we're going to have 16 freaking teams in and you want to let everybody under God's hot sun in the playoff, there should be at least 1 G5 team in. And obviously, there should be a certain allotment for Big 10 and SEC teams. So to me, the conference champs have to get in. Otherwise, we are just literally destroying the regular season and conference games and conference championships. Oregon already got punished for winning a conference title. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin didn't want to play in the SEC title game, and they turned out to be right. They didn't get the playoff, but Oregon flat out got like it's a negative right now to play in the conference championship game when it comes to college football playoff. The way the 12-team playoff is laid out, not a big deal because a year from now it's going to change. But here's why beyond just honoring regular conference champions, beyond trying to preserve conference games and the regular season just a little bit. And I haven't heard anyone point this out. The auto bids, because some folks are like, oh, the SEC gets 4, the Big 10 gets 4. If there's 16 teams and you just go the top 16 teams in the country in a college football playoff, they're going to get way more than 4. The auto bids actually benefit the ACC and the Big 12. So I'm looking at the top 20 college football teams, okay, when it comes to odds to win the national championship by conference. Of the top 20 preseason teams that have the best odds to win the national championship, 11 are from the SEC. 4 from the Big 10, 4 from the ACC, and then 1 independent. Gee, I wonder who that is. My point is, if you leave it up to human beings with the SEC bias and the ESPN SEC bias, right now we just have to deal with people on ESPN whining and complaining the SEC teams didn't get in. If there's no parameters and it's just let's put the teams we like the best in, there's going to be way more than 4 SEC teams that get in. 11 of the top 20, when you leave it up to human analysis and human opinion and human bias, are from one conference, over 50%. So you could easily have 9, 10, 11 of the 16 teams all from the SEC. So as an ACC fan, why would I tune in if I don't have a team in? If I'm a Big 12 fan, why would I tune in if I don't have a Big 12 team in? And if you just guarantee the ACC champ or Big 12 champ gets in, you may not get a second team in. And then what happens is college football is going to become even more regional than it is, because all the SEC teams would get in. They're going to get all the best recruits even more than they already do, and everything's going to become in the South, and the rest of the country outside of the Big Ten is going to kind of be excluded because it's going to become all about the SEC. At least with these parameters, the ACC is guaranteed 2 teams. They may not get more than that in, but at least they're guaranteed 2. Same thing with the Big 12. Same thing with the G5. I actually like the auto bids, not because it helps the Big Ten and SEC. The Big Ten and SEC are going to get 4 teams in every year no matter what in a 16-team playoff, because people are going to put them in the top 16, at least 4 of the teams. It's the Big 12 and ACC and Group of 5 that actually benefit from guaranteed having a minimum amount of seats of 2, because they may not get 2 in some years. You look at the odds to win the national title, you break it down to the top. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams. 10 of those 13 teams are Big Ten and SEC teams. Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Georgia, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, Michigan, Tennessee. The other 3 are Notre Dame, Clemson, and Miami. I'm telling you, the auto bids there actually will help protect the Big 12, ACC, and college football fan bases as a whole across the country. Otherwise, it would become the SEC Invitational and the SEC Big 10 Invitational if you leave it just up to human opinions, and bias creeps in. Also, there's got to be a certain amount of human opinion, but there's got to be a certain amount of objectivity. In other words, it doesn't care what you think. We did something on the field that automatically says we're good enough to be in a 16-team playoff. If you're going to have a 16-team playoff, nobody should ever be left. If you're 17 or 18 in the country, just shut up. I mean, just shut up. Like, you probably have 9 losses at this point. I exaggerate to make a point, but I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down. For me, I look at a 16-team playoff. I like that it allows for the auto bids. If I'm going to look for the things I like, I actually like the at-larges. Because if you go to the 14-team playoff, which I prefer, and I know we got to go to break and we can wrap up this conversation afterwards. If you go to a 14-team playoff, which I prefer because the Big Ten and SEC champ would probably get the 1 and 2 seed. They'd get the bye, which makes the Big Ten and SEC championship uber important. Now I care about Oregon beating Penn State. As long as, you get a 1-week bye and not a 25-day layoff like Oregon and Georgia did last year, and then they both lost. The teams, they very well may have been better than at least Oregon won in the regular season versus Ohio State. At least they could have been competitive in the Rose Bowl versus Ohio State. The layoff, I guarantee, played a role in that. What I like about the 14-team playoff, I've already diatribed. The positives, and I still prefer it, but the positive about the 16-team playoff is now you get those 4 from the Big Ten, 4 from the SEC, 2 from the Big 12, 2 from the ACC, the 1 G5. You got 3 at large. Now, if Notre Dame takes one of them, that's fine. But you can take another Big Ten or SEC team if you want. Maybe there's a 3rd ACC team. Maybe there's a 3rd Big 12 team. Maybe on a random year, there's 2 undefeated Group of 5 teams that don't play each other. You can't tell me they're not worthy of a 16 seed at least. I mean, they haven't lost to anybody. I don't care if the 4-loss Big Ten team is 1,000 times better. I've seen them lose a third of their games. 1 out of every 3 Saturdays this fall, I watched them lose. Put in the undefeated team, and let's actually watch them lose to somebody. Or maybe they shock us. Either way, neither team really is going to win the national title, but at least make it a little bit more intriguing with the underdog story. I actually like the at-large spots because you can put in the other teams that maybe didn't automatically qualify with the auto bids, and maybe it's a G5 team that's a 2nd team that's undefeated. Maybe it's a 3rd, maybe Miami, Florida State, and Clemson are all really good out of the ACC. And now Florida State comes back from the dead, only beat 1 D1 team last year. Now all of a sudden they're 10-2. They get in when otherwise it would have been Clemson and Miami, and they would have gotten left out, and the 10-2 ACC team gets left out, and now they get in. Does that kind of make sense, Jake? And I do know we got to go to break. I got a little bit more after break on this, and I want to pose a question to the people before Jake gives his answer. We go to break. Do you just know we're going to 14 or 16 teams? I have 2 questions for the fine folks at home. Text in your responses. What's that number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
Number 1, and it sounds trivial. Oh, it's only 2 spots. Well, if we have 14 teams, spot 15 and 16 are going to whine they're not in. If we have 16 teams, 17 and 18 are going to whine they're not in. At some point, you just got to shut up. Like, there's got to be a line. Like, either you made it or you didn't. But do you prefer a 14-team playoff or 16-team playoff the way it's been outlined? All right. The other part of that question is, do you like auto bids? Do you like why I've explained I prefer the auto bid system? Because it takes bias out of it, and we won't have 11 SEC teams in a 16-team playoff, as an example. Do you like auto bids, or you just prefer, let's just take the top 16 teams, and we'll live with human bias as they create the top 16 in the next poll? Let us know. Jake, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. You look at what happened last year, obviously just 12 teams, so it's not even comparable to what we have drawn out for 14 or 16. But I think this is kind of capitalizing on what they've learned previously, right? Did the buys help? You're already having a long – everybody gets 3 weeks off, so what's 4 weeks off? Obviously, you'd have that less game, but then you don't get a home playoff game, and you don't get to get rolling. So I think that's why – to a degree, I get what you're saying about the 14-team playoff, and you'd still have those buys in there, something to kind of play for. I'm not sure if that helps as much as we intended to. And obviously it didn't this past year. And then the other thing is obviously, I think the worst thing about last year's playoff was the seeding. You've got to find a way. This whole everybody's equal, Big 12 champ has to be the 4th seed, or, the highest 4 conference champion thing. That was a disaster because that threw seeding off completely, to the fact that Oregon, who won the Big 10 championship, had a much tougher road, even with a bye, than Penn State, who lost the Big 10 championship. So I think they're fixing some things. I kind of like the straight up 16, no buys, everybody plays, and I do. I like the auto bids for the reasons that you drew out for every team. And remember, in this format with 16 teams, there's still 3 at-large bids. So you can still kind of get the best of the rest, whoever would not fit into that group, which basically already is plenty of spots for just about everybody in college football. There's no gap of college football that's left out. So you'd still get 3 pretty good teams in.
So I still prefer 14 teams. But I to your point, I like the 3 at-large spots. And that's the one thing I do prefer about the 16-team playoff. Now, it's interesting. There's still a way that the top 2 teams in each conference could get a bye. Not just Big 10 SEC. Well, probably the Big 10 SEC, but the top 2 teams in conferences could get a bye. We're going to talk about that. And also, all right, we know how we determine who gets in. To Jake's point, the seeding sucked. And it's going to probably be just as bad this upcoming college football playoff with the top 4 conference champs getting byes again. This will be the last year of that. But how would we actually seed these teams? Jake and I have not discussed this at all before the show, but we'll discuss it after the break. And have we gotten any texts yet?
We do. We have a few.
All right, we'll read those when we come back as well. Don't go anywhere. We shall return.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Make your move fun and easy with the help of Movers and Shakers. Movers and Shakers is homegrown, female-led, and ready to help make your transition to a new space as seamless as possible. They excel at residential and commercial moving jobs, as well as offer home cleanouts and junk removal services. Moving into a new place is stressful enough, so let Movers and Shakers ease the transition. Give them a call today at 712-899-6265 or book your move online at www.moversandShakersNE.com today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list, new Canyons at $8,500 off list, new body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at CoppelCars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. I literally just looked at Jake, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've got a 4-hour show in front of me. Did I not just say that to you?
Yeah.
So we've got enough for today. I'm not here on Wednesday. Don't miss me too much, but we've got enough for Thursday, and I'm sure nothing will happen during that 48-hour period. I mean, my Lord. There's such major news as North Carolina. Bill Belichick may not even be the head coach come their first game of the year. It's getting so bad out there. And I don't have more than 3 minutes to spend on that at some point in this show. Okay. But you actually, first of all, let me know what people are saying off the text line, but you actually did a little math. All right, we can do math on this show. We're smarter than the average dumb guy about 50% of the time. all right, give or take the day. But you actually did some math here. What would Matt Rule have to do just to match Bill Callahan's initial record?
Yeah, he who shall not be named has been dubbed on the show now. But it is kind of funny to look over the years how how maybe his tenure gets better because of these other coaches that followed him. So he was 27-22 at Nebraska. Again, terrible, worst coach of all time. Matt Rule's 12-13 right now, so he'd have to go 15-9 just to match that in the next 24 games, which equates to about some 8-4, 7-5 type of seasons would tie it to an 8-4 and a 7-5 season moving forward. So we'll see what can be done, but that's just to tie Bill Callahan.
By the way, folks who don't know, Mike Riley was exactly 500 at Nebraska. Scott Frost was well under 500. Is he who shall not be named? Is that him now? Is it Trevor? I feel we got to be careful. We're starting to add up the amount of people of he who shall not be named type folks. All right, and obviously I played for Callahan. So I was there, like I said, first half of my career, I committed, was recruited by and committed to play for Frank Solich. The last half of my career was Callahan. I do think Callahan's tenure is viewed a certain way, part because of the eras right before it. Like if he came in and did what he did, but he did it now, I think it'd be viewed very differently. And let's be real, he didn't have a ton of respect for Nebraska and Nebraska's traditions and things of that nature. So I think that rubs people the wrong way as well. I saw it firsthand. Okay. So it's interesting, depending on when you coached, sometimes how your tenure is viewed is completely different. All right. But let's get to the text line. 16-team playoff, 14-team playoff. What do the folks prefer? And do they prefer auto bids or do they want 9,000 SEC teams in their 16-team playoff?
Yeah, William Adara chimes in off of YouTube, kind of talking about the at-large bids. Say maybe Air Force or Navy or Army could get in, so he'd be excited about that. Old Dad 34 chimes in on the text line. I don't think auto bids should be allowed. Just take the best teams. 1922 said 16 if the military academies get an auto bid. So a lot of people want to see probably just a triple option in there at some point. Cigar Guy says, I like auto bids. I don't care about 14 versus 16. The important thing for me is they need to be seated correctly. Dave Braska says Sweet 16. Never don't have any buys. Nolan Border said maybe they should do the playoff like the NFL. Don't have it be a fixed bracket system. The lowest remaining seed plays the first seeded team, and the second lowest remaining seed plays the second seeded team, and so on. Just let the top teams decide who they want to play after their bye week.
So I'm going to come back to that point because that's a phenomenal point. The reseeding after every round of the playoffs, I don't know why we aren't already doing. I know why. Because the NCAA tournament, college basketball, and it's exciting and it's fun. We don't have 64 teams in the college football playoff. Just give it 2 years and we will. Okay, but for now, we don't have them yet, so it's not going to work the same. Reseeding after every round just makes sense to me. It's beyond obvious in my opinion. Like if 16 were to upset one, they then shouldn't play the winner of the 8-9 game. They should play the number 2 team in the country if that's the highest remaining seed left, or the number 3 team, or whoever the best team in the country is left. Why? Because you earned the most difficult road to the championship. So if you're going to get in with 4 losses, you better beat the best teams that are out there. Otherwise, I'm not going to respect you as a national champ. Now, if you come out and you beat the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed, and the number 3 seed, okay, maybe you were 8th in your conference and you had 4 losses and you got blown out 3 times, but it's hard to ignore that run. Nobody's ever going to do that. But maybe, you never know what'll happen. All right, so I think reseeding after every round, it's just kind of obvious. And the one, I forget, I think it was Old Dad 34. I could be wrong. By the way, if you're 34 years old, you're not old. But my point is this. Like, when you say 16 best teams, it's a slippery slope. When they started paying athletes, I said, hey, it's a great idea, slippery slope. When they started going to 4 and 12 teams in college football playoff, I'm like, hey, it's a good idea, but it's a slippery slope. What I'm saying is you're not going to get the 16 best teams. You're going to get the 16 biggest brands. You're going to get the 16 teams that the people like the best. Like, look at all these SEC teams that complain they didn't get in the playoff, and then outside of one SEC team, Ole Miss, all the rest of them lost in the playoff. Or in their bowl games, I'm sorry. Alabama, people were up in arms about Alabama not getting in. Alabama lost to an injury-riddled Michigan team where I believe they had like 5 guys who didn't play in that game because they were going to the NFL draft. Alabama did not have that same problem. They had their squad for the most part. Michigan did not. Michigan was Michigan last year, and they still got mollywopped in the bowl game. So my point is, you may think you're getting the best teams, but when you leave it up to people's opinions, there's a lot of variance in there. There's a lot of bias in there. That's why things have to be earned on the field, at least to a degree. Like, it doesn't matter what you think. We won this championship on the field. We won the ACC. Yeah, we might be a conference that used to be good at basketball, may not even be around in football anymore, but right now we're here, and we deserve to be one of the 16 teams in, whether you think we're the 20th best team or not. Like, some things have to be beyond what people's opinions are. But then once you've said, hey, these are the automatic teams that qualify based on what you did on the field, then you factor in people's opinions, which is, even though I still prefer 14 teams, the one thing I like about the 16-team playoff. Like, nobody's going to get left. Half the field doesn't deserve to be in a 16-team playoff to play for the national title based on what you did in the regular season, but nobody can whine about being left out of a 16-team playoff, in my opinion. And that's the one thing I do like about it. All right. So just for those who may or may not know, here is how it's being. We got to go to break again. Good Lord. Why do you talk so much, Jake? I think you said 10 words the whole hour. It's been me. All right, we're going to go to break. And then I'm going to explain, for those who don't know, and even if you do know, there's a new proponent to this that has been proposed that I actually like. How this 16-team playoff format would actually, like, how do they decide who the 4 teams are from the Big Ten, and 4 teams from the SEC, and 2 teams from the ACC, and 2 teams from the Big 12? Like, how do they decide this? Okay, and there's a new proponent to this that's been proposed that I actually do like. And it actually, if they do this, would make the regular season, which has been utterly disrespected and destroyed, just a smidge more valuable, at least to a degree. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a 1-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see lots of sunshine. It'll be breezy and warm with an afternoon high near 90. Tonight, mainly clear skies, a continued breeze, a low near 63. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies, be breezy and warm, although showers was possible late. See a high near 92. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a 4-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carriker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, May 10th, Wolves plays Brighton at 9 a.m., followed by Bournemouth versus Aston Villa at 11:30 a.m. On Sunday, Man United plays West Ham at 8:15 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Arsenal at 10:30 a.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 82 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks. Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl, Jordan, with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about trading up. Not what you're thinking. You could never trade her in, but you can trade up her stone if you like. Signify the growth of your love, the challenges you have overcome, or any part of your love journey by trading up her diamond. Whether it's been 5 years, 25 years, or 50, say it with a bling. Big love, big bling. We got you. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Play ball! Pitch the perfect idea for a family outing or date night with tickets to the next Salt Dogs game. Nothing says summer fun like an action-packed evening at Haymarket Park. Come root for the home team with a hot dog and a cold drink. Plus, visit saltdogs.com to learn about special events and promotions, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the thrill and excitement of a Salt Dogs win. Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. All right, I got a couple of quick things, just real quick, just to reiterate how quick it's going to be. All right, the aforementioned, let me get to it. Bill Belichick. All right, things have gotten, this is according to Sporting News now. Things have gotten so messy between Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson, and UNC that there's, and I quote, absolute real chance, end quote, Bill Belichick is not the head coach by the time week 1 rolls around. Again, this is per Pablo Torre. Now, Pablo of ESPN reported that Jordan Hudson had been banned from the facility. A lot of people believe that she had been. North Carolina heard this and then quickly unbanned her for perception's sake because Pablo has doubled down on this. And so a lot of people have done a lot of recon and stuff on Jordan Hudson's background. You know, she's done $8 million deals in real estate since she's been with Belichick. Almost all of them are completely paid off. Her family had a fishing business that went bankrupt, and now her mom owns like some sex shop museum or something like that. I don't even know what that is. I defer to the expert. Jake, you can talk about that in a second if you'd like. You know,
several of them,
This has just been a crazy scenario. All right. It's like the topic that I want to talk about quickly and move on, and then it just keeps coming back up. Real quick, because we're going to get back to the topic at hand, Jake. Will Bill Belichick be coaching North Carolina at Game 1 this year? And did you ever think you'd be answering a question like this?
I definitely didn't think so. I do think that he will. But man, it's crazy. like the celebrity couple includes Bill Belichick right now. And there's just a different story on him every day. So I understand the kind of the frustration there and among North Carolina's fan base. And you just never would have expected this through all the years of Bill Belichick being an NFL coach.
So here's the crazy thing. We're starting to find out he was not liked by the Boston media. They have got their knife. If you go just do a little recon on this, spend 5 minutes and then move on about your day. It doesn't take long. Their knives are out. And it's almost kind of like, man, maybe he was a little worse off to them than we realize. I mean, if you're a guy who's winning Super Bowls and you have all this success, you wield a lot of power. And let's be honest, he's bringing a lot of attention to the Boston media and the Boston media markets. They're going to put up with a lot. I mean, it could be the old, hey, maybe we should talk about it. Maybe we shouldn't talk about a Scott Frost thing that we have here in Nebraska. That is not the thing in Boston. The knives are out. He was apparently not very well liked by the media folks up there. All right, I do think he'll be coaching Game 1 as well, but Belichick's family is like legit concerned. Like they're legit concerned about the situation and also the damage that this situation, which includes Jordan, may or may not be doing to his reputation that he has built decades building that just almost an impeccable reputation when it comes to at least football. Now he's become the very thing that he always preached against in Boston with the Patriots, which was distractions. All right. Also, Ohio State and Texas is going to be a noon game. I've always thought they should put better games than they put, like when I was growing up. The noon game was rarely ever very good. It was like Texas, Oklahoma, and I think Florida State, Miami, back when that game mattered a lot nationally. It was always at noon. Other than that, it was always like, the afternoon time slot, the night game. I always wanted them to put better games at noon, but my goodness, now they're putting like the best games at noon because of the Fox television contract. Quick thoughts on this, Jake, before we move on. I'm just like, I understand it. I understand it's business, it's revenue, it's money generating, it's big brands, it's where Fox's time slot is. They paid for it. They're making revenue off this. I get all that. I just don't like it. What do you think, Jake?
Well, yeah, I mean, I get your argument. There are some other good games on that week that might, fall into that time slot. So I personally just kind of like it to be spread out throughout the day. So I love the fact that Big Noon puts one of those. But there are some days where you kind of get somewhat of a stinker at night and you wish that the noon game was there. And this might be one of those situations. But just, I mean, it's set to so they all watch it at midnight if you turn it on.
It's always the Big Ten premier game, though. That's the problem. So it's always with our conference.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back. Is there anything from the text line real quick?
There was a thought about reseeding that I thought was kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
6475 says reseeding after each round, I believe, is a bad idea because it punishes a misranked or underranked team from being successful. This is from the other bill.
So for me, I understand that logic, but you got to look at, for me, all right, what's the, if we don't reseed, then what happens? Because I would rather not reward a team who happened to get lucky in the first round or second round of the playoffs. If you're beyond the second round, you didn't get lucky. But I'd rather not over-reward a team with 4 losses who happen to get lucky in the first round. Now they've got an easier path to the championship. Also, to me, it puts more value on the regular season because, hey, we're a lower seed because of what happened in the regular season. So now we've got to go through the gauntlet of the postseason in order to actually earn this national championship. So the higher your seed, the easier path you should be. So to me, at least it puts more emphasis on the regular season. I'm always going to come back to that. College football has always been one of one with the emphasis on the regular season. I don't want it to completely die It's hanging on by a thread, but I don't want it to completely die. Otherwise, you lose the 1 of 1, and you're just like everything else out there, and you're a dime a dozen. The only team that I feel it really would be unfair to is maybe an undefeated G5 team who should be ranked higher, but with their schedule, it's almost impossible to evaluate how good they are or not. But my counter to that would be, well, you didn't play a tough regular season schedule. So now you've got to have a tougher road to the championship in the postseason, which to me kind of offsets if you didn't have the toughest regular season schedule. I do think the expanded playoff, there's pluses and minuses to anything. Jake and I were talking about, man, there's all these different teams that can win a national title this year. And you look at the top 13 teams, and yes, it's majority SEC Big Ten, but you've legit got Clemson and LSU. A lot of people have top 5, and Texas and Georgia and Bama and Ohio State. And Oregon's going to be a preseason top 5 team. Penn State's preseason top 3, according to a lot of people. So it's almost a much more wide open field, which is a positive to a larger playoff field. Okay. So here's kind of what is being proposed and what most people expect, and then a new proposal within the way this format is supposed to be that I actually do like. So I've talked about this a while back, but it's been a while. So within the Big Ten and SEC, to get to their 4 auto bids, you take the top 6 teams at the end of the regular season. Now, 1 and 2 can play in a conference championship game in the Big Ten and SEC. That is one way to do it, and that's what most people have believed is going to happen. And then 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5, and the winners, 1 and 2, are in the playoff no matter what. They're just battling for the conference championship game and a higher seed. But 3 versus 6, the winner gets in, loser out. 4 versus 5 at the end of the regular season as far as the conference seeding, and 4 automatic qualifying bids. 3 versus 6, whoever wins gets a seed. 4 versus 5, whoever wins gets one of those 4 automatic bids from the Big Ten or SEC. So the 1 and 2 are automatically in. They're just playing for a conference title. The winner of 3, 6, 4, 5 round out your 4 auto bids. And that would be the Big Ten, the SEC. Now, the ACC Big 12, they'd have no conference title game. You'd have your number 1 seed at the end of the regular season play 4, 2 versus 3, and the winner of those 2 games gets in for the Big 12 SEC. And then you'd have your highest ranked G5 team. I assume if Notre Dame is up there, because they always get to have their cake and eat it too, just join a freaking conference. But they'd get one of those 3 at-large spots, probably more years than not, and then there'd be 2 at-large spots available if Notre Dame doesn't get in 3, which I actually kind of like the at-large spots a little bit. There's a positive to the 16-team field. But I heard something that was proposed, and I liked it. So the Big Ten and SEC specifically. So 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. The winner of those 2 games still get in, but the number 1 and 2 seeds potentially not playing a conference title game. And I know this is asinine. Adam, why would you not like a conference title game? Because it doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. So you're going to be the 1 seed versus the 3 seed. I mean, if whether you win or lose, you're probably going to be the 1 seed versus the 3 seed. Is that big a deal? No, it's not. I'd rather reward the regular season. So the 1 and 2 seed in the SEC and the Big Ten wouldn't have to play a conference title game. You would just dub the 1 seed your regular season champ. The 2 seed would be in the playoff, but they would get buys. And so essentially they'd get a 1-week bye before the 16-team playoff starts the next week. And I actually like that because it puts more emphasis on the regular season. It's a bigger reward for the regular season. And to me, I actually like that, and it makes things mean more leading up to the playoff. What's going to happen, they're going to go to a 16-team playoff. They're going to have all these play-in games, and they're going to have the conference title games because you can make more money. You think TV networks are going to pass on a Big Ten title game and an SEC title game? No, they're probably not going to, but I don't hate a scenario where those 2 teams automatically get in and they're rewarded with buys and you're rewarding more in the regular season. I actually like that scenario. So while I prefer 8 teams, and I've said since 1997 when Nebraska and Michigan split the title, and number 3, if you remember, was a 1-loss Florida State, and number 4 was a 1-loss North Carolina. And I remember UCLA won their last 10 games of the regular season that year, and a lot of people out west were like, nobody wants to play UCLA. They're red hot. And I've always been like, just go to 8. You can get all the major conference champs in. You get the top G5 team. You get 3 at-large spots. What's so hard about this? And if you're not in the top 8, you probably got 3 or more losses. Why are we chatting about this? That's always been my philosophy. That's how I've always looked at it. It's not going to happen. Okay, so I've moved on. My point is, whether I like something or not, there's always pluses and minuses to each side of this scenario. Does it kind of make sense what they're proposing with the 16-team field, how they're going to fill out the auto bids? The only real question is, do 1 and 2 seeds get a bye from the Big Ten and SEC, or do they play in a conference title game? Does that all kind of make sense, how they're going to format the 16-team field? And do you prefer 1 and 2 seeds getting the bye, or do you want your 1 billionth game? And I know, totally a leading question here for Jake. Or do you want your conference title games for the Big Ten and SEC?
Yeah, no, I like the way you kind of describe it there. So that those top 2 teams in the Big Ten and the SEC would essentially get a bye while the other teams are getting the play, and then you still play 16 from there. And so, there's not technically a bye in the playoffs, but you'd at least get your break. I like that, like you said, because that would really put a lot of emphasis on being one of those top 2 teams in those competitive conferences. So, I've just kind of the aura or the excitement about being a conference champion has already lost a little bit of its power here in the last couple of years. We've seen Georgia teams and Alabama teams and Ohio State teams that haven't won conference titles, and when you expand these playoffs, sometimes they're gonna win. They were even doing that in the 14 playoff. So yeah, the conference championships, no matter what you do, really just don't have as much importance to it. So as much as I'd like to see it, I don't think it. I think that it would be a good way to kind of give that conference the regular season a little bit more meaning and just kind of fairly place it in there. So I do like kind of that. I agree with you though. It's gonna be a hard sell to the TV network.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it happens, but I do know it's been proposed. Right now, how I feel about conference championship games, it kind of reminds me of NCAA basketball conference title games. Like, beyond knowing you're automatically going to get in the tournament, they don't really mean a lot. Whereas like the Big Ten tournament conference champion in baseball, automatically, like, I wanted college football to try to maintain the relevance of winning a conference championship more similar to what it means in baseball than it does in college basketball. Does that kind of make sense? Like, if Nebraska wins the Big Ten tournament championship, they're in. Does that kind of make sense? In baseball is what I'm saying. Does that kind of make sense? I want it to feel as valuable as possible. Is there anything off the text line? I know we got to go to break. As always, we're behind after the first hour, but is there anything off the text line?
5866 says, one thing I'd like to see is the teams in the playoffs never play each other if they already had in the current season, unless, of course, it's a championship game, and keep the first round in the team stadium. Also, 5162 says, Big Noon Kickoff has been the highest rated time slot the last few years, so unfortunately it won't change soon.
No, it won't change. It won't change. I'm not living in this alternate reality where I'm the commissioner of college football, and that would just make too much sense. I'm living in the real world where I have to deal with what actually is going on. And I've told Jake at some point, I know the major outlines of what I would do with college football. Okay, it's the little details. I haven't taken the time to sit down and kind of figure out the little intricate details. At some point I will this summer. We got lots of time this summer, even though every freaking show is loaded, which is awesome because there's plenty of stuff to talk about. But at some point I will diatribe that. What was the message again? I started looking at my paper and I got distracted.
It just didn't want rematches in the playoffs unless it has to, basically.
Yeah, you're going to get rematches. I don't know what to do. Because either you've got to alter the seeding drastically, which means, if you've got all these SEC and Big Ten teams in, let's say you got your 4 teams that automatically qualify from the Big Ten, from the SEC, then you got the ACC, Big 12, G5, Notre Dame. The other 2 teams are going to be Big Ten, SEC. You've got 10 teams from your field or from 2 conferences. You're either going to have to drastically alter matchups and seeding to avoid rematches, or you're just going to have to deal with teams that are going to play each other 3 times a year in the future, and it's not going to be that uncommon. It's part of expanding the playoff. It just is. It is what it is. I don't know how to explain that beyond that. I do have 2 final thoughts. We're going to go to break. We're going to wrap this up, and then we will get to DBK. She had an interesting quote about volleyball. Potentially, I forget what the exact quote was, something about being potentially unstoppable or something like that. Also, we're going to let you know who's going to win the College Football Playoff National Championship this year. We've got science behind it. And an update, big-time recruiting update for Nebraska football. When we come back, though, all right, I got a question for the fine folks while we're gone. But Jake and I are going to quickly chat about the question and your responses, but also how would we actually see this? Okay, we kind of know what it's going to look like. There's little questions here and there. Will it be 14 teams, 16 teams? Will there be conference championship games in the Big Ten, SEC, or will they just get automatic first buys into the first round of the playoffs? They won't have to play in a championship game. There's little intricate details we don't know, but for the most part, we get it. But how would we seed it? Nothing has been said. The 12-team playoff isn't bad. The seeding of the 12-team playoff is what sucks right now. Are they going to make the same mistake with the 16-team playoff? How would we seed it? Okay, and if you find folks want to let us know, text in. That wasn't my official question, but you can respond to that. Jake and I will give how we'd see it. Mine's not that complicated. It's not as simple as just take the higher rated teams, but it's not that complicated either. Okay, but my question for the fine folks at home is this. Let's say it's a 16-team playoff. And let's say bowl games start to regain some of their value, which I felt they did last year. And college football is starting to do things to try to get players to stay in and play in bowl games so they have more value. So let's say bowl games are more valuable down the road, and let's say it's a 16-team playoff. What if there's a year where Nebraska qualifies to be the 16 seed? Would you rather they get in the 16-team playoff and play, I don't know, an undefeated Georgia, an undefeated SEC champ in Alabama? Okay, and maybe Nebraska's got 4 losses in this scenario. Would you rather that 1 versus 16 seed and it be in Alabama? By the way, all playoff games up to the Final Four should be on campus sites. I don't hate the idea of the Final Four being the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. The Final Four teams playing in the Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day with bowl games leading into those playoff games in the afternoon and evening. And then you got the national title game maybe a week later, not 3 weeks later. Too late is the national title game right now. Okay. But every game should be, every round of the playoffs up until the Final Four should be on campus sites. So it would be a number 16 ranked Nebraska, 3 or 4 losses playing, let's say, at Georgia, at Alabama, undefeated number 1 team. Would you prefer that scenario? Or they go play a team with 3 to 4 losses equivalent to them in a bowl game, when in a world where bowl games actually have value again? Which of those 2 things would you prefer? Let us know on the text line. We'll be right back.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about trading up. Not what you're thinking. You could never trade her in, but you can trade up her stone if you like. Signify the growth of your love, the challenges you have overcome, or any part of your love journey by trading up her diamond. Whether it's been 5 years, 25 years, or 50, say it with a bling. Big love, big bling. We got you. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Big news from your Nebraska Lottery. Mega Millions is now more mega than ever. First off, a new multiplier is built into the game. Plus, there are now bigger jackpots, better odds, and prizes start at $10. So don't miss out on these fantastic enhancements. Visit your favorite Nebraska Lottery retailer today and play Mega Millions with the new built-in multiplier, bigger jackpots, better odds, and prizes starting at $10. Drawings Tuesdays and Fridays. $5 Mega Millions top prize odds, 1 in 290 million.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Authentic Mexican food is not always easy to find, but you can find it in Lincoln at Tacos Los Hermanos. Their birria tacos are worth the drive from anywhere in town, but their chicken, chorizo, al pastor, and asada tacos are also worth the trip. You can also try any of those meats in a burrito or quesadilla. You won't find a better toppings bar in the area or better dessert options. If you can't get there, don't worry, they do deliver as well. Stop by Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock Streets in Lincoln.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up this college football playoff expansion talk with a quick segment here. Respond to a couple of your texts off the text line. Throughout the rest of this hour, major Nebraska recruiting updates. Danny Busboom Kelly has a lot of confidence in the Nebraska volleyball team. Also, which team that's not a Big Ten or SEC team is going to win the national title? All right. As well, it's your daily friendly reminder. If you're so inclined and or interested, check out and or register your K through 8th grader, boy or girl, at the inaugural Carriker Chronicles football camp featuring Eric Crouch, Amon Green, Zach Weger, Kenny Wilhite, and yours truly. The camp that is for the kids. We will be donating a portion of the proceeds, all right, to at-risk youth here locally in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Also donating to kids abroad, helping build schools for those who just simply don't have them right now. But the details of the camp, you can learn at carrikerchronicles.com, but it will be July 9th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Autographs included, T-shirts included at the LYF Lincoln Youth Football Field. All right, the camp that is for the kids. Learn the basics and fundamentals and or take your game to the next level. Go to carrikerchronicles.com to learn more about the football camp. All right, Got anything off the text line real quick? I know how I would see the 16-team playoffs. Probably not how they're going to do it. I haven't even heard any proposals yet. We'll hear what you have to do it, and then we can move on to the next topic.
Just one response here on 1922 says bowl game, the winner gets in the playoffs.
So the question was, would you, in a 16-team playoff, would you rather a 3 or 4 loss Nebraska team play a number 1 seed on the road, big-time favorite undefeated team, or go to an equivalent playoff game in a world where bowl game in a world where bowl games have, kind of received some of their value back based on what they used to have? Sir, that is not the question we asked. You did not answer anything. You did not answer the question that we asked. Tell me you did not do well in school without telling me you did not do well in school. All right. What would your answer be? Would you rather do the bowl game or be the 16-seeded team in a 16-team playoff?
Well, now that we finally got the bowl game back, we've been to one. For the longest time, of course, we missed one, and I just do anything to see a bowl game again. But I have to admit that, like you said, you have to build the bowl games back up in this scenario. But I want to play for a championship. You give me any sort of chance to play, even if it's the longest shot, give me a chance to play for a championship.
I would still take the playoff as well. 16 seed, you never know what can happen. Maybe you go in and you upset the team with the numbers all over their helmets and jerseys and everywhere for some reason, or whoever else you're going to play, you never know what can happen. All right. I just thought it would be interesting to see what the people had to say. Now, how would I seed this 16-team playoff? For me, it's very simple. If you're the best G5 team, you get in. You're welcome. That's all you get. All right, Notre Dame, you'd actually have to be one of the 3 next highest rated teams, be on the 4 automatic bids at the Big Ten, SEC, and the 2 automatic bids at the Big 12, ACC get. You don't just get to be, hey, we're in the top 16, we automatically get in. There might be teams in front of you that would be left out because you're a top 16 team and you automatically get in, because there might be a G5 team or a conference champion who's not the top 16, which would mess up the rankings and the numbers. So you actually have to be one of the next 3 highest ranked teams in the country. Notre Dame, you're a big brand, but you're not that special. Not to me, not to Commissioner Carriker. So those are the first 2 things. The last 2 things, Big Ten and ACC champ would get automatic top 4 seeds. Not top 2, top 4. It guarantees you home field in the first 2 rounds of the playoff if you win a Big Ten or SEC championship. If you're a Big 12 or ACC champ, an automatic top 8 seed, you're guaranteed home field in the first round of the playoff, and that's it. And it'd be that simple. Big 10 SEC champ, top 4 seed, guaranteed. Big 12 ACC champ, top 8 seed, guaranteed. Top G5 team, you're in somewhere no matter what. Notre Dame, you got to be one of the 3 highest ranked at large teams. No exceptions for you. And that's it. What about you?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think that's putting some parameters on that. It helps the bigger conferences. I get that. I wouldn't do a whole lot. Actually, I would still, this is where the College Football Playoff Committee would earn their money. Under the new system that we're kind of proposing here, a lot of it's laid out for you. Yeah, you got to pick the 3 teams that get the at-large bids, but the other part of it's not necessarily there. This is where I'd make them earn their money. Just go based on final rankings. Is there going to be some human bias in there? Yes, but I think that's better than trying to move all these positions around. Because like I said, with last year's seeding, that was what the problem was. Like, let's try to put more emphasis on the Big 12 champ, or more emphasis on, in rewarding these teams with buys and top 4 seeds. And it really manipulated and ruined the seeding. As such, again, that Oregon had a tougher road than Penn State, even though Oregon was the number 1 seed. So I would try to avoid all that. Just go based off the top 16 rankings the College Football Playoff Committee gives me.
Even if it was the 12-team playoff, I'd still have the Big 12 ACC champ guaranteed a top 8 seed. Just so they get 1 home field playoff game. And then beyond that, it's whatever. To me, if you're ranked somewhere between 7, 10, 8, 9, I don't think it's that big of a difference. It's trying to reward, for me, the conference championship, at least to a degree. But I get your point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, Nebraska football recruiting updates. DBK has a lot of confidence in the volleyball team. And what non-Big Ten SEC college football team will win the national championship this year? We'll be right back.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, May 10th, Wolves plays Brighton at 9 a.m., followed by Bournemouth versus Aston Villa at 11:30 a.m. On Sunday, Man United plays West Ham at 8:15 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Arsenal at 10:30 a.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 82 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a four-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carriker, Rashawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
Big news from your Nebraska lottery. Mega Millions is now more mega than ever. First off, a new multiplier is built into the game. Plus, there are now bigger jackpots, better odds, and prizes start at $10. So don't miss out on these fantastic enhancements. Visit your favorite Nebraska lottery retailer today and play Mega Millions with the new built-in multiplier, bigger jackpots, better odds, and prizes starting at $10. Drawings Tuesdays and Fridays. $5 Mega Millions top prize odds, 1 in 290 million.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
The goal for those coming on the road, let's go get that first. And then here's what'll happen. There'll be you'll kind of be lackadaisical. Instead of keeping that energy, why not two? Instead of keeping that energy, you'll probably see just a little bit more ease of play. Because in the psyche, we did what we came to do.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We had one final thought from a fan that texted in. Pardon me, on the 16-team college football playoff that is being proposed. Jake, what is that thought?
Believer says adding so many teams, just move it to 64 and start the tournament in October.
There you have it. Just kill the regular season entirely. Just take it out back, shoot it deader than Old Yeller. Did you ever watch Old Yeller growing up?
I don't think I did.
That was my favorite movie as a kid. I also like Lassie. I love dogs.
Sounds like it doesn't end well, though, for Old Yeller.
It does not. It does not, unfortunately. All right, Nebraska football recruiting update. The Huskers will have no less than 14 four-star recruits come visit Lincoln throughout the month of June. All right, now 9 of them are offensive players. 4-star running back Brian Bonner, 4-star running back Deshaun Walker, 4-star offensive lineman Claude Mapona, 4-star offensive lineman Deacon Smith. I don't have to read them all, but our running back, O-line, wide receiver, tight end, defensive line, linebacker, DB, all 4-star players that will be visiting Lincoln throughout the month of June. Now, if you go beyond that, okay, it's probably once all these are scheduled, because obviously we're still in May. We've still got a couple weeks left in May. There is expected to be closer to 20 4-star blue chip prospects that visit Lincoln throughout the month of June. All right, when you factor in the 2027 targets, they're going to push for over 30 guys next month as well. When you hear things like this, okay, because I look at the current recruiting rankings for the 2026 class, and obviously there's a long way to go in college football. Right now, the number one class is USC already has 28 commits. Like, holy Moses Malone, because number 2 is Notre Dame with 15. Ohio State's got 13. Penn State's got 17. Like, you'd have to add together some of these classes to add what USC has got. Now, they got some pretty good players, 1 5-star, 10 4-star. I always take stars with a grain of salt. But I will say this, recruiting rankings and analysis are as reliable and more reliable than they've ever been. Probably as much as they can possibly be, but it goes USC, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State, Clemson, Texas A&M, LSU, Kansas. Kansas is number 8 in recruiting. Syracuse is number 9. Dude, Brett Bielema is doing some things out there in Illinois. They're number 11. Bill Belichick, he may not be coaching game 1, but he's got the number 12 recruiting class in the country as of right now as we sit here in mid-June. You got to go down a ways, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, Nebraska's ranked 58th in the country. We have 4 total commits for the 2026 recruiting class. All right, 3 3-stars, 1 4-star. So what are your thoughts on Matt Rule's new approach to recruiting? It is less about geography, location, being within the 500-mile radius, being within the state of Nebraska. It is about the guys he just sees as appear best players across the country. Right now, as we sit here in mid-May, 58th class in the country. I mean, we've got, like, just in front of us, 57 is Arizona, 56 is Toledo, 54 is Miami of Ohio. Just for perspective, okay? Stanford's at 50. Let's see, Boise State's at 46, Houston 48. These are some of the schools that are in front of us. BYU 41, Cal 42, UCF at 40. So, Jake, what's your reaction to, obviously, they are trying to get the best of the best, regardless of where those players are located. Are you concerned with where we sit right now? Do you like Matt Rule's new approach? Do you think he should, like, just have, like, a base of local players that you just start out with, or just go for the best of the best regardless of geographic location? What are your thoughts on all this and how it seems to be unfolding very, very early on?
Well, obviously it's very different than what every school is doing. Lincoln Riley's got 28 high school recruits lined up to come in and play for the Trojans. That's crazy compared to Nebraska's 4 right now. But I understand it. I'll at least put it that way. And I kind of like it. I'm interested to see how it looks, because I think if you kind of just go about the same route that has been taken here for forever and for good reason. I get that. Then you might kind of get the same results. They're trying to get ahead of the curve on this sort of thing with the transfer portal and say, you know what? If we have a class that ends up with 15 guys, but it's 15 guys that we really believe in, 4-star type guys, high-end guys, and we're able to really get on them and spend less time on getting 26, 28 guys with a bunch of them being in-state recruits and just kind of trying to get a whole mesh of guys in here, because the whole idea is you're going to be able to get plug-and-play players. Even if you don't get 28 high schoolers, you use those other 13, 14 spots, whatever it is, on plug-and-play players out of the transfer portal, which can help your team immediately. So there's something to be said about long-term balance and all that, but it seems like they're really focusing in on the high-end prospects. And you might not be able to get every one of them, but I kind of like it. It's a different approach, and again, I think it's kind of trying to be ahead of the curve with the transfer portal era.
It's kind of I mean this respectfully, but quality over quantity type of approach. What's ultimately going to matter is 2, 3, 4 years from now. So this is the 2026 class we're currently talking about. We'll briefly look at 2027. We have a top 10 class and only one commit in 2027, by the way. But it's 2, 3, 4 years from now. Who's still here? Who's developed? Who's contributing? Sometimes you take more players because you know guys are going to leave. And so in order to have enough guys that are still here years from now to contribute, you just have to take more players, or you can go for quality over quantity. Make sure you take care of them financially, develop them, things of that nature. I'm going to be honest, it's got a lower floor and a higher ceiling. It's a riskier type move. It is a swing for the fences type move. And I don't hate it. Who's going to be here 2, 3, 4 years from now that's helping contribute, make an impact? I should mention multiple Big Ten programs are now in the running for 2026 in-state running back. All right, Neslin Wheeler. All right, he has a lot of the Big Ten, Nebraska running back, Big Ten programs intrigued. Now, when you look at 2027, the Huskers are getting involved with the big-time tight end out of Michigan, Anthony Cartwright. Okay, he posted on X, after a great workout and conversation with Coach Sat, I am extremely blessed to receive an offer from the University of Nebraska. So we'll see what happens there. Trying to develop that tight end room just a little bit more. Like I mentioned, you look at 2027, and obviously this is very, very early on. The number one class in the country for 2027 college football recruiting rankings is Florida State, Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama. All right, University of Miami, Boston College, our good buddies from the Pinstripe Bowl, Pittsburgh, Dan Marino, Syracuse, not talking basketball, and Nebraska's at 9. Oh, right ahead of GAGMU at 10. That makes me smile. Minnesota at 11. All right, so way too early. We've only got one commit so far. Obviously, a lot of people are very excited about Trey Taylor, but we are currently ranked number 9 in the country at this very early juncture for the 2027 recruiting class. All right. Trey is out there peer recruiting. All right. And it's interesting because a lot of people are like, oh, he's going to decommit, he's going to transfer, he's going to do whatever. One of my favorite responses he had was, I'm not going to transfer a year from now, I'm still going to be in high school. I thought that was a great response because he's currently a sophomore. But he flat out said on Twitter, as long as that staff is in the building, I'm coming to Lincoln in 18 months. And he's been very consistent on that. Okay. He's very interactive online. He has just been moved up to the number 3 quarterback in the entire country and ranked number 14 overall as one of the top players in the country as well. 6'3", 180 pounds. And I know he's doing a lot of peer recruiting, trying to get a lot of players to come with him as well. All right, let's play the clip from Danny Busboom Kelly. And it was interesting because, this isn't some big, gigantic deal. I just felt like it was a moment of pure honesty that you might have in a casual conversation with a friend that just randomly the sentence comes out. But she happened to be talking to the media, and I think you're going to hear it, and she's got a lot of confidence in the Nebraska volleyball team for good reason. Go ahead, Jake.
I think it's definitely confidence, and that this team, now we didn't have a starting lineup really this spring, so that'll be a little adversity come the fall, and we are going to have to write that. But I feel like this spring prepared us to be able to handle that and to stay together as a team. And if we stay together, we're going to be pretty unstoppable.
And so it's a casual comment, one you might just make casually with a friend in a regular conversation. And it's not some big deal, but I was like, man, I feel like she just had a moment of pure honesty. I feel like we can be unstoppable. If like they didn't have they're trying to figure out the libero. They got 4 different liberos that are battling for the spot, and they've got a lot of players coming back, obviously. 2-time setter, Big Ten setter of the year, Bergen Riley. You got Harper Murray. You got all these players that are coming back. You got a fill some gigantic shoes. And with Lexi Rodriguez at libero, again, 4 very qualified players who are battling it out for that spot. She basically said, if we come together and play like we can, I feel we can be pretty unstoppable. And I felt like it was just a casual moment of big-time honesty, and that kind of stuck out to me. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you said like pretty good, and then okay, yeah, that's about normal coach speak. When you say unstoppable, it's like, whoa, that's the level to which she believes in this. But I mean, for good reason. Again, this is a program she's inheriting, pretty used to losing 3 or 4 games a year. Not too much more than that. And where she was, at Louisville, kind of the same way. So I like it. And to your point, I think it's just it kind of comes through as honesty. That just kind of an honest moment of saying how good this thing can be. And again, this is a team that routinely makes Final Fours, championship games. So it's not something that's like, whoa, hold on, stop the presses. But it is like, all right, yeah, I can see it.
It just felt like a moment of pure honesty to me. Just randomly came out. And John Cook usually kind of have a bit of a smaller roster. They're pretty much going to have a full roster for the volleyball team this year. That is one thing that DBK is going to do just a little bit differently. So that's going to be fun to watch, see how that unfolds. But man, Nebraska volleyball, I don't know how they're anything but preseason number 1. I don't want to declare them national champs already. You got to go out and you got to play a season, and the 64 team, one and done NCAA tournament, you have one bad night, anything can happen. Now, I'm not trying to go too far the other way, but it's one of those things where this is one of the most talented Nebraska volleyball teams we've ever seen. You bring in a great coach to step up and fill in for a legend. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. That's all I'm getting at. Any final thoughts before we head to break?
No, I just said it's interesting because of that. That was kind of the surprise for Coach Cook in his retirement, too, was just kind of like, wow, he's got this program rolling. And at some point, he was going to have to walk away because of where he's had it to be one of the best 2 or 3 programs, in the country. He's going to have to walk away from a heck of a roster at some point. And he did. But again, it is now, it's up to DBK to pick that up and keep it how it's been.
Well, all credit to Terry Pettit. He was the one that originally got this program going. So John Cook obviously took it to another level, kind of like Osborne took Nebraska football to another level after Devaney built it up. All right, Terry Pettit built it up, and John Cook took it to another level. So hopefully this is an amazingly fun volleyball season to watch. Hopefully Matt Rule can be the football version of what we expect DBK to be as well. All right, one thought on Nebraska softball, because one thing they're going to have to do in order to come out of the Baton Rouge regional, make it to super regionals, which they absolutely have the capability of doing. But they went 1-4 versus nationally seeded teams and 0-2 against the best 2 seeds, Oklahoma State and Mississippi State. In the losses, the Bats weren't what they had been most of the year versus the toughest pitching they saw. If we're going to advance, all right, they're going to need to score more runs in crucial crunch time situations, and that's taking advantage of when you get runners on base, because it's not going to be as often, and especially when you get runners in scoring position. So when it comes to Nebraska softball, we're going to be eyeing that game that they're going to play versus the Big East champs UConn on Friday, and kind of looking forward to it all week. When we come back, we'll tell you who to place your money on. Jake will, because if he gets it wrong, it's his fault. As far as the college football upcoming national champion, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Authentic Mexican food is not always easy to find, but you can find it in Lincoln at Tacos Los Hermanos. Their birria tacos are worth the drive from anywhere in town, but their chicken, chorizo, al pastor, and asada tacos are also worth the trip. You can also try any of those meats in a burrito or quesadilla. You won't find a better toppings bar in the area or better dessert options. If you can't get there, don't worry, they do deliver as well. Stop by Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock Streets in Lincoln.
Big news from your Nebraska lottery. Mega Millions is now more mega than ever. First off, a new multiplier is built into the game. Plus, there are now bigger jackpots, better odds, and prizes start at $10. So don't miss out on these fantastic enhancements. Visit your favorite Nebraska lottery retailer today and play Mega Millions with the new built-in multiplier, bigger jackpots, better odds, and prizes starting at $10. Drawings Tuesdays and Fridays. $5 Mega Millions top prize odds, 1 in 290 million.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at gainatrucking.com.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. There's lots of sunshine. It'll be breezy and warm with an afternoon high near 90. Tonight, mainly clear skies and continued breeze, a low near 63. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies, be breezy and warm, although showers was possible late. See a high near 92. I'm meteorologist Kyle Bucket for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it.
This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends Friday, May 16th.
See Home Club for details.
Get ready for the largest dirt late model event in Nebraska, race fans. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is heading to Eagle Raceway's High Bank Heist on Thursday, May 15th through Saturday, May 17th. See the greatest dirt late model stars in the country compete for $10,000 to win on both Thursday and Friday, and an enormous $50,000 to win 75-lap main event on Saturday. The High Bank Heist, May 15th through May 17th at Eagle Raceway. For more info, visit eagleraceway.com. Let's go Lucas Oil Late Model Racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Schwizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here at 93.7 The Ticket. You already know the answer to this question, don't you? Who do we have scientifically winning the college football national championship?
I do.
I was going to ask you. All right, we're going to get there too quick. You know what? Just go ahead and roll the clip from Josh Pate. I forget where in the clip. I want people to guess. They'd probably, if it's not a Big Ten or SEC team, they'd probably go right to this team. But this team has not been themselves for a while. They've not had top 25 recruiting classes the past couple of years. They just started using the transfer portal. Like their two or three players that they brought in over the past 2 or 3 years is it. So this is their year. Because after this, I don't know how good this team's going to be. All right, go ahead and roll the clip. At least for this year, this is who some folks think could surprise people and win a national title.
Did you know that 5 of the last 6 national champions had the most first-round draft picks in the subsequent draft? Ohio State, for instance, just won the national championship this past January, and they had first-round picks galore and draft picks galore this last cycle. 7 of the last 8 national champs had the most players taken in the subsequent draft period. And there you go. Ohio State just won it. Ohio State had the most draft picks. Like I said, science. Can't argue with it. Colin wouldn't put the graphic up if you could. You can't argue with this. So this is science. Well, you might think to yourself, all right, so if I'm going to take it to mean that the upcoming national champ is going to have the most players drafted in the draft, it's all well and good. But here's the problem. The draft is like 11 and a half months away, isn't it? And the answer is yes, but we don't have to wait. You know what we have at our disposal, courtesy of CBS or Fox Sports or ESPN or The Athletic or PFF? Mock drafts, which, as we all know, are as settled as science can possibly get. And so what we did, just to give you an idea of where our heads were at this time last year, is we went out there in the mock draft community and we aggregated it all. Now, these are mock drafts. It's not what ended up happening in the draft, but we used mock drafts because that's all we had at our disposal at the time. Now, the mock draft sort of community this time last year indicated that Michigan would have the most first rounders. The mock drafts averaged Michigan having 3.75 first round draft picks. Here's what actually happened. Not quite. Will Johnson got hurt. Michigan kind of would have still maybe led this thing. It's just that they didn't have a quarterback on last year's team. But if you'll notice, Ohio State was right there at 2. That's your national champ. You got Georgia, a playoff team. You got Texas, a playoff team. So the mock draft community was sort of kind of on point. They threw the dart, and the dart hit the board. They just didn't hit the bullseye. We assume they've learned, right? They've learned their lesson. And so we are going to assume that these mock drafts are gospel now. And so we're going to take our internal formulas here, and we're going to provide it a little more clarity via the mock drafts. And I have the fortunate/unfortunate task of informing you that we've arrived at a conclusion like 9 or 8 months earlier, something like that. The upcoming national champion will be the Clemson Tigers. Can you believe that? Good for Dabo Swinney. There will be no little old Clemson. There will be no doubting. There will be no hating. There will be no looking down on Clemson. None of that. If they're planning on bottling that up at any point this year, I want to get out ahead of it and tell you no. Clemson is supposed to win the national championship this upcoming year. Whomst amongst us knew, right? So the science is not going to fail us here. According to the mock draft community, Clemson, we aggregated all of them.
It's just science. Clemson's going to win the national title. Most people in their post-spring preseason top 25 polls either have Texas number 1, Penn State number 1. It's pretty much mostly those two teams. It's Arch Manning in Texas, or it's Penn State with all their returning players. Josh Page just released that's who we just listened to from his show. Just released his preseason top 20. He followed it up. He put Clemson at number 1 in his poll. Now, he said 7 of the last 8 national champs have had the most amount of first-round draft picks. The one exception was 2024 Michigan, although they had the most amount of total draft picks. In fact, Ohio State had the most amount of total draft picks in this past year's NFL draft of 14. They had 4 first-round picks, the most amount of first-round picks. Michigan had 1 first-round pick the year they won it, but had 13 overall draft picks. Then you've got Georgia and Georgia. So 2022, Georgia had 5 first-round draft picks. 2021, Bama had 6 first-round draft picks. 2020, LSU had 5 first-round draft picks. All right, so Clemson, when you look at the projected, obviously we don't know the actual first-round draft picks for 2026 just yet, but the projected first-round draft picks, the top 8, are Miami at 1.6 players, LSU 1.8, Bama at 2, Ohio State at 2 first-round draft picks projected in next year's draft, Oregon at 2.2, Penn State 2.4, Texas at 2.6, Clemson at 3.2. They are projected to have between 3 and 4 first-round players taken in the draft. Their linebacking core is really athletic. Their wide receiver core is as good as it's been in years. And when you look at their quarterback, Cade Klubnik, he came back. This is his third year as their starting quarterback. When you look at the top 10 preseason college football quarterbacks across the country, depending on where you look, but the one I'm looking at right now has Haynes King at 10, DJ Lagway at 9, Sawyer Robertson out of Baylor at 8, Lenora Sellers at 7. He's almost always top 5, so that's low for him. Carson Beck, hopefully the elbow heals, at 6, Garrett Nussmeier at 5, Drew Aller at 4, Sam Levitt at 3, John Mater at 2, Cade Klubnik, the Clemson quarterback. They have him, this is via actually Greg McElroy, as the number 1 quarterback in the country at this point going into the college football season next fall. If you're a Nebraska fan, we've talked about Dylan Raiola not being on that list. We'll see what happens once the actual season unfolds. Now, as I mentioned, Clemson is projected on average to have 3.2 first-round draft picks next season. What's funny is they're projected by most preseason polls to win the ACC, but they're not even in the top 6 teams in the country when it comes to projected to win the national title. They're actually tied for 7th when it comes to national preseason title favorites with Alabama. Okay, and again, you look back to mock drafts this time last year, coming into 2025, it was Michigan that was projected to have almost 4 first-round picks. It ended up with 3 top 15 picks, and Ohio State ended up having the most first-round draft picks at 4, the most overall draft picks at 14. And obviously, Ohio State won the national title this year. It's not Jake's national champion, as he'll tell you.
That's right.
But Michigan had the most amount of picks the year before. They won the national championship the year before. It's kind of like Matt Rule says, the better players you have, the better coach you just tend to be. It's funny how that works. So when you equate that to Nebraska, well, I forget the exact amount of years. Was it 30 years, 40 years where we had a draft pick every single year? Then obviously that was snapped. It's about the talent and development that you have. The more talent you have, the better developed players you have, the more likely they ought to be drafted, the more likely your team is to be better and win more games. I just thought it was incredibly interesting, the direct science. 7 of the last 8 national champions have had the most amount of first-round draft picks the following April in the NFL draft. The science that goes into this and the correlation, it's not a coincidence. And the last 2 national champions, even though Michigan didn't have the most first-round draft picks the year they won it, The last two national champions have had the most amount of overall draft picks. And Ohio State also had the most amount of first-round draft picks this past year as well. And Michigan still had 3 top 15 picks this past year as well. If Will Johnson doesn't get hurt at corner, he's probably a first-round pick as well. And maybe Michigan does even better than they did a season ago. When you look at it from a Nebraska perspective, it's science. There's a correlation. There's a connection. You want to win more games. You want to compete for championships as a college football program. Regardless of who you are in the country, there's a direct correlation and connection to guys getting drafted and wins on a college football field the previous fall and/or falls on Saturday. And I'm not saying Nebraska's got to sit here and be like, ooh, we got to get everybody drafted. But if you're winning games, you're developing players, you got talented guys, you're going to win games, you're going to get drafted. There's a direct correlation. Would you, before you heard the clip when I said it to you, would you have predicted Clemson to win the national championship?
No, absolutely not. And I'm still questioning it.
He said absolutely not. Like, no wiggle room. Absolutely not. I'm rooting for Clemson because I unfortunately think they're going to take a dip after this year. Lack of transfer portal players, lack of top 25 recruiting. But I'm rooting for them to be incredibly good this year. And we'll see what happens. All right. Mostly they're also not an SEC team, even though they're in the South. All right. Until Thursday, go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bones.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a 4-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carriker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour.